Welcome back. As we head towards the end of 2025, we are taking a look back at some of the big stories of this year.
Here's Brian Allen with a look at some of the top stories of the last 12 months.
He was a City of Vermilion employee who worked as a lineman for 6 years, living on his family's generational farmstead in Alcester. Brandon Steeneck had never had a problem until a new manager entered the picture, telling him to move closer or lose his job.
My house is on a family farm that my family has owned for generations. So I'm helping them because they're getting older. And so if it wasn't for that, I'd have no problem just living in town.
With the support of the Vermilion community and the backing of his union, Brandon got to keep his job and his family home. In Sioux Falls, Shannon Nasser's mother-in-law asked him to look into whether her house was valued higher than other homes in the neighborhood. Turns out it was, with no real good explanation why.
Nobody has a problem paying their taxes in general, but what you're not want to do is have a valuation that's actually higher than the actual retail value.
The assessed value was near $449,000, close to $60,000 more than houses just across the street. Through negotiation with Minnehaha County, the assessed value was dropped by about $60,000. Earlier in the year, a man named Corey Martinson was arrested on 4 counts of cruelty to animals and 6 counts of animal neglect involving cats and kittens. Martinson had a history of abusing animals, but the resulting deaths of some of the animals in Martinson's care is what led to a further investigation into his activities.
We get a lot of abuse and neglect calls. It's fair to say that the neglect probably outweighs it, and the death or injury of animals is not that common.
Martinson was sentenced in October to 5 years in prison for his crimes. For months now, we have been following the problems apartment tenants in Sioux Falls have been facing with their complexes owned by Zadig Properties. Everything from unresolved garbage and sewer issues, broken entry doors, and general inattentiveness to their tenants.
I believe how this specific property management company continues to operate is morally and ethically wrong, and quite frankly, I'm tired of it.
But when Zadig filed for foreclosure on its properties, it caught tenants by surprise who said they were not directly notified of the filing. And months later, the company would file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and that process continues to move forward. In 2025, 23 inmates died in the custody of the South Dakota Department of Corrections, among them Travis Longfox, who died at the state penitentiary in Sioux Falls. His mother Nancy says he died as a result of using K2, or synthetic marijuana. His death highlights what is perceived as serious and continuing problems with inmate safety and well-being within South Dakota's Department of Corrections, a problem that will continue being discussed as we go into 2026. Brian Allen, Dakota News Now.
As the year comes to an end and 2026 quickly approaches, we like to take the time to review some of the stories which impacted our community the most. Here are a few of the most clicked on stories of 2025.
6 months after his disappearance, dashcam video was made available by a private investigator in the case of Tyler Weathersby, a Sioux Falls man who went missing after leaving for a morning walk in September of 2024.
He was over there talking to someone in a car and someone on a bicycle, and if those were high schoolers, parents, if you're watching this right now, and if your kids go to Jefferson High School, ask them if they were the ones that talked with him.
Sioux Falls Police Department said they've had this video for a while, but had not released it to the public, as is common protocol with other police report details. Mona Lisa Perez, his wife, claims she believes SFPD has more video that is not being released, and urges the public to speak up if they know anything about her husband's disappearance. 18 months later, Weathersby is still missing. Ever since the legalization of medical marijuana in the state of South Dakota in 2021, it has been a contentious topic at times. In June, 2 South Dakotans took their concerns over illegal marijuana sales to the Sioux Falls City Council. Only 5 dispensary licenses have been given out in Sioux Falls, which put THC limits in place for products being sold. Industry professionals Emmett Reistroffer and Alan Welsh believe there are over 30 shops operating illegally and not abiding by these limits in Sioux Falls.
They're saying it's hemp, or they got signs in the window that say THCA. Quite frankly, it's all BS, all of it. They're selling marijuana, and we've done tons of undercover buys, and 100% of it has tested to be marijuana.
They claim this issue stems from a lack of enforcement in the area and call for a warning letter to be issued. If that does not work, they ask law enforcement to step in to ensure residents are kept safe. Communities in northeastern South Dakota and Minnesota counted their blessings after a series of tornadoes and storms this summer that many claimed were unlike anything they've ever seen.
Right out of the movie Twister, right out of the movie The Wizard of Oz, it was that wild. And we were about 4 miles away, and it looked to be about a mile away. It was that big.
The owner of Buffalo Ridge Resort and Spa opened the facility as shelter as over 100 people packed into the restaurant and tunnels, leaning on each other for comfort during a stressful and uncertain time. Thankfully, there were no fatalities. However, 2 homes were destroyed by the tornadoes, which the community quickly got together to begin restoring. The Sioux Falls Little League team securing a big win during their time in the Little League World Series this summer, led to victory by star players like Max and Snoozy.
We've been gone for 2 weeks. They've spent minimal hours with their family, so this win, they deserve to spend some time with their families.
The team got 3 days off to rest and reconnect after beating the Mid-Atlantic team in June, then went on to face and win against Connecticut in their next game, before eventually being knocked out of the World Series by the Southeastern team from South Carolina. An employee of Paws Pet Resort in Sioux Falls shared a video of dogs being mistreated in May, alleging the kennel uses a power and control method of training, which could be damaging to the dog. The employee chose to stay anonymous in fear of retaliation. Paws Pet Resort later released a statement saying that they take inquiries into their dog training practices seriously and encourage their associates to seek accreditation in dog training. They claim they subscribe to positive reinforcement techniques, which are proven training methods, and quote, the method has the dog's good behavior awarded with praise as well as treats.